there they are. Our new electronic media, or our new gadgets. You push a button and the world's yours. You know how they talk about the world getting smaller? Well, it's thanks to these that it is. Everywhere is now our own neighborhood. We know what it's like to go on safari in Kenya, or to have an audience with the Pope, to order a cognac in a Paris cafe. But not only is the world getting smaller, it's becoming more available and more familiar to our minds and to our emotions. The world is now a global village. A global village.
And how will we ever get people off the computer then? I mean, won't we be like dogs in heat just humping everything in sight? I know I, for one, will.
Well, we actually get satiated on one thing, and then maybe we're going to want to eat something, and then we're going to want to create music. We're going to become better musicians. We're going to become funnier. Some of us are already pretty good at that, but...
you're saying that these computers will make us funnier?
Well, we're going to put them inside our bodies and brains to make ourselves smarter. And computers are already smarter than we are logically. Where we have an edge is getting the joke, being funny, being sensual, being loving. That's the threshold that we're on, to give computers those skills. And we're going to put them inside our bodies and brains to make ourselves greater in these qualities.
Will dogs be smarter?
The reason I'm calling today is to express my disappointment that you have invited this highly sophisticated crackpot and given him a national forum to express his pseudo-religious predictions that have no basis in objective reality.
If you go back 500 years, not much happened in a century. Now a lot happens in 6 months. Technology feeds on itself and it gets faster and faster. It's going to continue. In about 40 years, it's going to be moving so fast, the pace of change is going to be so astonishingly quick that you won't be able to follow it unless you enhance your own intelligence by merging with the intelligent technology we created.
This guy is freaky. He says computers will have consciousness in just 25 years.
As we get to the 2030s, you're not going to be able to tell a clear difference between human and machine intelligence.
The big questions of life is, who are we? What are we going to become? What's the future like? And he's got one of the most incredible track records in history for his ability to predict with pretty darn good accuracy.
He's an award-winning scientist and engineer, a millionaire several times over because of his inventions.
Baker's wild.
These inventions may end up causing the worst war that humanity's ever had.
Corporations and governments and societies will be created and destroyed on the back of the technology that this book describes.
The world is flattening. The world that is globalizing.
Inventor Ray Kurzweil thinks that one day humans may be able to live forever.
I want to live as long as I can. I don't want to die. If following Ray's regimen would put that day off, I'm very willing to do that.
I knew there was a reason I was keeping all this stuff, and he kept all this stuff. I do plan to bring back my father.
Now, many people, especially young people, accept unquestioningly the reality that is presented by the media. Popular culture, movies, television, music, carry messages about how society works and how people should behave. And so entertainment is not value-free. It has ideological content. It presents a worldview that influences the people who watch the programming.
You know how we speak of being with it, meaning we've understood completely. We've got the message, as it were, in every way possible. But in the older book or print culture, people were not with it. They were away from it by themselves with their own private point of view. Now, you have no point of view when you're with it because you accept the thing totally. And we're with it because these new media of ours, the one you talked about in the appliance store, have made our world into a single unit. The world is now like a continually sounding tribal drum, where everybody gets the message all the time. A princess gets married in England, and boom, boom, boom go the drums. We all hear about it. An earthquake in North Africa. A Hollywood star gets drunk. Away go the drums again. I use the word tribal. It is probably the key word of this whole half hour.
Why, Marshall, do you use the word tribal? Why this?
Well, I think you'll find everything we observed tonight about the media points in the direction of tribal man and away from individual man.
By individual man, I assume that you're referring to John's literary man.
Yes, and tribal man is the man created by the new electronic medium.
So that this would be the basic change we spoke of at the beginning.
Yes, we're retribalizing. Involuntarily, we're getting rid of individualism. We're in a process of making a tribe. For just as books and their private point of view are being replaced by the new media, so the concepts which underlie our actions, our social life, are changing. We are no longer so concerned with self-definition, with finding our own individual way. We're more concerned with what the group knows, of feeling as it does, of acting with it, not apart from it.
Look, let's back up just a bit.
Yeah, this is.
I mean, you might want to. Yeah, you might want to listen to that.
But you know, they sell it like it's cool. You know, the head of Sega is saying that one day video games are going to be chips in your body, and then Ray Kurzweil's talking about that. They're going to make it trendy.
But they're only going to give us the level of it that does enslave us. They're building the architecture to dehumanize.
If you need an answer to a question, chances are you'll look it up on the internet. However, a new Columbia University study suggests that the instant results we get from search engines are affecting how we remember just about everything. From people to places to almost anything, chances are, if you need an answer, it's at your fingertips.
I go to Google a lot.
Google it. First place I go, Google.
Researchers at Columbia University are calling this the Google effect, where people immediately turn to their computers or smartphones when confronted by something they don't know. So is the internet actually dumbing us down?
It's just like making people like lazier, I guess, or I mean, like instead of just learning, I mean, you just look something up and boom, you get the answer.
We're more likely to remember where to find the information online than the fact itself.
And I think that people have the thought that if they can go back to the internet and find the answer later, instead of really accessing what you know, that sometimes maybe you just rely on the computer as your external hard drive, rather than really sort of accessing your own memory.
There's a lot of information out there. You tend to forget the useless parts of it. I mean, that's cool, right? You don't want to have it clutter in your brain.
This is the end, my only friend, the end of our elaborate plans, the end.
Integrating technology with human evolution seems like such a good self for man. You're building a better you. But the fact is, it's just simply not true.
Human augmentation. Surf industry. Rising deaths on the street.
This is a business that's driven by fear. If I don't improve myself, if I don't augment myself, then I'll be less intelligent, less capable, less strong than the rest of the human race.
Augmentation is a huge business for these corporations, and we're paying for it by sacrificing our humanity and freedom.
Why it went clashing. Reports of human experimentation.
We have to ask the question, are we playing God? We've been integrating ourselves with technology for decades now, replacing damaged limbs with mechanical limbs, implanting data chips into our bodies, which give away huge amounts of information to governments and corporations all across the globe.
At no point have they thought about the consequences of their actions. They actively encourage you to exchange your perfectly functional body parts for upgraded augmentations. What they are doing is ethically and morally wrong, and they should be brought to justice.
Growing numbers of people experiencing
Today, Surf Industries signed a new historic military deal.
I know that they are creating mass quantities of military-grade augmentations. I've seen testing on them, and it's very scary types of alterations.
They want to systematically turn us into machines and pump us full of their drugs.
You have to take Neuroxazine, one of the most dangerous and addictive drugs that exists in the world today.
You'll have to take this drug for the rest of your life. If you don't, your body will reject your augmentations. It's a drug that's priced so highly that we are now seeing cases of high-profile people who are now out on the streets, and they're begging. They're begging for drugs. They'll have their technology in your body. They could have the power to turn off your limbs, the potential to turn off your eyes. They'll be able to send messages to your brain and control your thoughts as if they have the power of God.
Please, if you don't take their drugs, you'll die. People have been abused, kidnapped, experimented on. Any kind of resistance or opposition is met with fierce and brutal terror on the people. When does this stop? When will you stand up and fight? They are killing our humanity!
And some are hot. Marshall McLuhan studies the media as a way of understanding what it is that makes us live in the way we do, as a way of understanding society itself. He's concerned with all media, but he's best known for his work on the electronic media, particularly radio and television. He sees them as the extension of our central nervous system and argues that they're leading to an electrical retribalization of the West. If they're
Well, as somebody once said, children now become gray at 3. They have acquired so much information about the world by the age of 3 that they're in a sense senile. And this vast amount of data that they are fed daily by TV upsets their attention span, for example. One of the effects of TV is to shorten the amount of time that people can pay attention to anything. And so young people today in America, for example, have very, very short attention span. They have to change the subject or whatever they're talking about very quickly. And what's wrong with television is the kind of effect it has on people's nervous systems. And it's not the program that is unsettling or dangerous. It is simply the complete disruption of the human nervous system by this potent drug.
You think they should